Some people at Columbia didn't know that I've already made a feature when I arrived there. But then at some point I used Columbia to you know to work on the film, to have like critics and comments, you know, about how the editing was going, and there were so many reactions and I was really confused. But then after the screenings I've seen like young people relating to it so much. We have people like intercultural couples who are like, hey, this is our story, it just made me like thrilled, I've been there. Yesterday some guys were telling me, oh yeah. But honestly I have to say that there were some older people who left the room, you know?
No kidding.
A couple, and yeah.
Do you think it was the sex?
I don't know what it was because I didn't know exactly when they left, but I don't know. The film also started like very late,
okay.
So maybe
might have been past their bedtime.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I always get the comment of like, yeah, I totally relate. This feels real, which I feel was my biggest objective. You know, like my goal to make it look and feel the way I feel it and I see it. You know.
Right. One of the things that strikes me about the film is how you mix these somewhat frenetic or very like swift moving sequences of whether it's REZETA, you know, in this love affair, or I love this sequence at the club later when the lovers temporarily lose each other, and the sex, for instance. Like I realized writing here that those sequences are from REZETA's point of view, in the sense like we see her underwear being pulled off, and then like the blowjob is from her perspective, or you know, from under the covers, and so that kind of that's juxtaposed with the fact that we don't fully know REZETA. Like she is this enigmatic, you know, hard to pin down. Sometimes, obviously, we're very allured by her, but sometimes it's hard to exactly understand who she is and where she's coming from. And sometimes we'll even sympathize more with Alex's side.
Of course.
Were these all, like, the development of the character, the creation of that world, was that something that, you know, went throughout the writing and then in the editing process, or how exactly did that go?
Yeah, people have mentioned this before, you know, like, oh, REZETA is enigmatic, and I sometimes do not know exactly how she's feeling about this, you know, and the film is called REZETA, you know, so that creates expectation, of course. Like it seems that we are gonna go for a ride with her, you know, all of the time. But the way I see it is, you know, like when there's a hurricane in a town, you know, like you know, like what the hurricane is doing in the town, you know, that's what it's on the news. That's what those are the bigger events. Like sometimes you don't know how, like the technical information or about the hurricane or how was it conformed. So you
don't know what the hurricane's feeling.
Yeah,
you don't know
in a way, you know, like so you know what it's provoking. So that was my idea since the get-go, and it was kind of like the trick that I wanted to do. Like before you notice, there's like a switch, you know, like because then you have to be Alex, because it's like what happens when a friendship. REZETA dates two guys, you know, who are like full of prejudice, you know, and she's open, you know. I'm trying to be objective in that way, and like or like showing the sex from REZETA's point of view because she's willing, you know, and that was important. But like if maybe there's a scene where Alex later on, they are jealous, watches some photos, and we don't see the photo that he's watching because it's all in his head, you know. So I was playing with when it was objective and when it was subjective, in a very conscious way. While shooting, you know, not so much while writing, I'll go back to this, but while shooting I was doing that, and of course more when editing. In the end it's like a film of like, I don't know the word in English, but when you, I mean, upgrade a friendship for a relationship, you know, which is
and REZETA makes that
very
decision.
common, exactly, you know, and the price for that comes with a price. So yeah, that's REZETA's choice. She's pushing for that, but we've already have been connecting to the other guy, you know, I'm planting the seed of who he is and what he feels, you know, and what's his stand in society, you know, and we know how he feels, and then we'll learn how much can he resist of like having a girlfriend who belongs to a certain world and it's so different, you know. I'm not offering like answers, you know, I'm trying to raise questions and trying to make people think, you know, like that sometimes, I mean, it's clear that they love each other, you know, or they care about each other, but like sometimes it takes more than that to have like a stable relationship.
Are they really meant to end up together?
Exactly, and what does that mean? Yeah, but coming back to the writing, I have to be very honest as well. I think I didn't know how to write a script when I was doing that, so I very visual. I've been a photographer many years, and and musical, and so I keep doing the same. I write like the camera directions and the music and like I want to write that, you know, so it's hard for me to just stick with the drama because I'm a writer director, so I know how I want to approach it, you know. So my script, if you read them, they are like that, you know. It's saying exactly that. So I had edited the film in my script, but then, for example, the first story with the first guy, we kind of cut half of it, you know, because that was something that I learned from the editor, and with the editor, that was the most enjoyable process from the film for me, was rediscovering the film in the editing room. This first story, we have like the whole downfall, you know, like this guy has like a formula to hook up with girls, you know, like, so we see him like abandoning REZETA, but no, in real life, you know, like sometimes you connect with somebody, but for some days, but then it's gone, right? So that's what we did, you know. And this is a film that it's, like you said, it's kind of composed by moments, like you can almost call them vignettes, you know. Like there are big time ellipses, and it's kind of like I want to be, as an audience, challenged, you know, like this seems real, there's something happening, even if it's like very subtle what's happening, but it's where are we and what's going on, you know. Like, so we would cut from Alex and REZETA in one place to Alex and REZETA in another place in a different moment,
and we piece it together.
Yeah, exactly. And that was kind of the purpose. So I think that the way I wrote was not that closed, but very helpful and flexible to restructure the film in the editing room.
Right. And since your actors were very close to their characters and their identity, did you find that improvising on set and coming up with little moments, just, you know, after take, was that pretty much a kind of consistent theme through the shooting? Yeah,
I would say yes and no. Like there were some scenes that, like 3 or 4, that they were completely improvised, okay, you know. And some other things that we were discovering there, and they worked perfect. Some other things that I knew, like this scene has an objective, you know, and I had one idea, but the idea is not working so much, or one of the actors are like having a hard time doing it, or when we rehearse, we discover it's not working so much. So the 3 of us or the 4 of us will talk about it, we'll improvise, we'll play, we'll joke, and then something will come at some moments. And other moments I will lie to one of them, you know, like, hey, we're just gonna go for this, and we're gonna cut right away. Yeah, and then we'll let it run, a sex scene or something, right, you know. And so yeah, there's a lot of kind of realism stolen, you know, improvised. Particularly Alex Roger Mendoza, who plays Alex. He's amazing improvising, you know, like I think like he's a natural. I like him very much, the way he's able to improvise. So yeah, we put that into the film.
So prior to REZETA, correct? You had done a short, Inner Dragons?
No, that short is after.
You shot that after?
Yeah,
okay.
For Columbia University. Yeah.
Okay. And then Calentamiento Local was a documentary.
Yeah, before.
And what's the story of that, or?
Well, I think like the most common thing on my work, the common thing is cultural shock. I love cultural shock. REZETA is an outsider coming to Mexico City, so everything has to do with cultural shock. Not on purpose, but I just end up doing that. Calentamiento Local is my third documentary. I made a short documentary with a friend of mine called the Asphalt Virgin, who played in New York at the Lincoln Center. Yeah, the Latin Beat in 2006. You know, this was my thesis for undergrad. It was a short documentary. It also went to a lot of festivals years ago. And then I made a documentary called Jimmigration, which I haven't finished. About
Jimmigration?
Yeah, about this guy called Jimmy, who's an American living in Mexico. So it's the reverse angle of the migratory issues. Jimmy is such a character. I've been working with him for since 2007. The documentary keeps going on. I don't know where it's going, but it's it's such a interesting subject for me.
It could be your own Boyhood, the Richard Linklater, the 12 years, which is premiering here at Sundance. Yeah.